Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Rich. I'm with RK Athletics. Thank you very much for joining me here today as I break down the shoulder circumduction, the banded shoulder circumduction to be specific. This is also known as a banded shoulder dislocation, as well as banded shoulder circles to keep it simple. So before I go into the exercise and how to do it properly, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel to stay notified for all the great videos that I'm going to be putting out for RK Athletics here in the future, as well as follow RK Athletics on social media at RK Athletics 1 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for tons of free fitness advice and a lot of fun stuff as well. So as mentioned, we're going through the shoulder circumduction here today, one that I advise a lot of people to do and don't really do as much as I should myself. So this exercise, as I mentioned, is a bit more of a mobility exercise. It's strengthening the back muscles and strengthening our rotator cuff to really help our shoulders stay balanced and stay strong as we go through our lifts. So this exercise can be done in multiple different ways. So it can be done with a dowel or a broomstick if you have those at home rather than a band. Now those do require a little bit more flexibility through the shoulders, a little bit of advancement on that side of things. So if you don't have the mobility to do it quite yet with the broomstick, that's where the band comes in handy. Again, if you are so tight through the shoulders that even using the band is a little too much, we can always just do it with our body weight. So before I go into the banded version, I'm just going to show you the exercise first and foremost. Again, this is one that you'll see a lot at the gym. People are just going to be doing big shoulder circles all the way back, and then people go all the way forward as well. So right off the bat, I'm just going to say doing forward shoulder circles won't have as much benefit as doing backward shoulder circles. So those backward movements is what helps open up the chest. It's what helps open up the shoulder joint itself. Rather than coming forward, we tend to round ourselves back forward. So we want to pull ourselves back. We want to strengthen up our rotator cuff. We want to strengthen up those muscles along our back to make sure that it's pulling us back into a nice, tall postural position. Now, there's a couple areas that I see people do this wrong. So when we're doing our shoulder circles, so I'm just going to demonstrate with one arm, as we're coming back, you'll find, especially with myself, being very tight in this area, as I come up, my upper back starts to arch, okay? So once my upper back starts to arch, that's me trying to force my body into this movement. So what happens here is my lats are super tight in this position, so it doesn't allow me to get full range of motion. So I'm not coming all the way back, I'm doing kind of a half semicircle there. So this is why this exercise is so important. It's to make sure that we are moving through a full plane of motion and also pointing out different mechanical issues that our body might have. So now I know that I need to work on my flexibility through my lats and through my shoulders as well. So again, doing these can really help out with that. So what we want to avoid is we want to avoid leaning back there. So how we're going to do that is we're going to keep our hips nice and strong. So we're actually going to engage our glutes. We're actually going to keep our core tight by bringing the top of our rib cage here down towards our pelvis, while also keeping our chest nice and tall. So we're going to keep a good postural, strong, athletic position. Now using the band, what we want to do is keeping tension on the band. We don't want the band going loose for us here, is we want to keep a nice consistent movement. So we're going to come straight back, keeping the hands in line with each other, trying not to arch back, all the way back as far as we can, and then coming back forward into that starting position. So doing this might be a bit difficult. If you lack shoulder mobility and you lack coordination on this as well, this is an area that we can start to see malfunctions too. So what will happen is if we're really lacking that mobility, we'll come up, we'll be coming around, and this is right about where we get tight. You'll notice one side comes out, one side stays nice and tall, or we're bending one elbow and coming back down. Again, doing these exercises that way is not going to be efficient for what we're looking for. So we want to regress the exercise to doing just body weight if that's the case, or we simply grip further apart. So gripping further apart gives us a better balance as we come around to be able to do these shoulder circles properly. So again, when we're doing this, we want to find an adequate tension through the band. We're going to keep everything nice and tight. We're going to come around, and as we come to the bottom, we don't want our wrists flexing here, we want to try to keep them in a nice strong position, keeping that external rotation through the shoulders, getting a nice stretch, and also strengthening the small muscles throughout there. So as we come back around, we're in a nice strong position, returning to the start. We're going to come right back around again into that position and back to the start. So again, banded circumductions are a great way to help open up our shoulders, strengthen the posterior chain in our upper back through our shoulders and into our traps as well, getting the shoulder moving through a proper range of motion and keeping the shoulders safe long term. So what I recommend people do is, if you do struggle with shoulder mobility, doing these about 3 times through per day, 10 reps each time, for a total of 30 reps per day can help open up those shoulders, open up the chest, and really help with our posture. So that's the banded circumduction, banded shoulder circles, however you want to name it. So again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. You can always message me through any one of my social media feeds at RKAthletics1 on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Below in the description, you can find all those links and more, so make sure that you click on them. Follow RK Athletics. And again, thank you very much for joining me here today, and live your life to the fullest with RK Athletics.